That was really loud. I'm sorry. Okay, second attempt. I'm gonna try and read as much of this as I can, but it's 4 o'clock now. I'm gonna try and read as much as I can, but at 5:30 I have to leave no matter what. So when my mom gets home, which is gonna be about 5:30, I have to sign off no matter what. Like if I'm in the middle of an episode, it doesn't matter. I'm gonna have to sign off. So I'm gonna read as much as I can. So let's try this again. Okay, things seem to be working better this time. So let's just hope that it keeps going like this. All right. This is I'm sharing my Chrome tab right now. So okay, this is good. Let's just I'm not exactly sure how to do this. Oh, okay. Wait, no, that's wrong. I did that's something else. Okay, wait, no. Okay. Okay, there, that's better. All right. Okay, let me just read. Okay. And as always, as I said before, you can go to Nathan's channel and find the first part of this. So he read up to episode 1 to 25. So okay, sorry. He read up to episode 25, so I'm gonna start at episode 26. Episode 26, Treasure Hunt. Granny Pig and Grandpa Pig are making a treasure hunt for Peppa and George. Granny Pig is drawing the treasure map. Grandpa Pig is burying the treasure in a secret place in the garden. Granny Pig says, Grandpa Pig, have you finished? Peppa and George will be here soon. Grandpa Pig says, no need to panic, Granny Pig. Peppa and her family are here. Granny Pig says, quick, Grandpa Pig, they're here. Grandpa Pig says, almost done. Grandpa Pig finished just in time. Peppa Pig says, Granny Pig, we're here. George says, Granny Egg. Granny Pig says, hello, my little ones. Peppa Pig says, Grandpa Pig. George says, Grandpa Egg. Grandpa Pig says, ahoy there, me hearties. Granny Pig says, Peppa, George, we've made you a treasure hunt. Grandpa Pig says, somewhere in the garden is buried treasure. Peppa says, wow, treasure, where is it? Grandpa Pig says, you have to look for it. Granny Pig says, here's a treasure map for Peppa. Grandpa Pig says, and George can wear my pirate hat. Ahoy there, Captain George. Peppa Pig says, the map is a bit difficult. Daddy, can you help? Daddy Pig says, of course, Peppa. I'm very good with maps. It is a bit difficult. Granny Pig says, Daddy Pig, you're holding the map upside down. Daddy Pig says, yes, I thought as much. Peppa Pig says, it's easy. The red cross shows where the treasure is. Daddy Pig says, but where in the garden are those two apple trees? Peppa Pig says, I don't know. Granny Pig says, would you like a clue? Peppa Pig says, yes, please. Granny Pig says, the first clue is in a bottle, but where is the bottle? Peppa Pig says, I can see it. Peppa has found the first clue, a message in a bottle. Peppa Pig says, look, everyone, it's a bottle. Yeah, no shit. Grandpa Pig says, well done, Peppa. Let's see what the message says. Oh, it's a message from a pirate. Peppa Pig says, Mummy, can you read the pirate's message? Mummy Pig says, this pirate has very bad handwriting. Grandpa Pig says, the pirate's handwriting is excellent. Mummy Pig says, no, I can't make it out at all. Grandpa Pig says, the pirate has clearly written, follow the arrows. Peppa Pig says, follow the arrows? George has found the second clue, sticks in the shape of an arrow. Peppa Pig says, look, they point this way. Peppa and George are following the arrows. Look, George. Peppa Pig says, look, George, a key. Narrator. Peppa has found the next clue, a key. Granny Pig says, well done, Peppa. Now you just have to find the treasure chest that it unlocks. Peppa Pig says, but there aren't any more clues. Granny Pig says, maybe you should take another look at the map. Look, Peppa, the map has two apple trees on it. Peppa Pig says, here's an apple tree and here's an apple tree, so the treasure must be here. Daddy Pig says, let's take a look. Daddy Pig says, oh dear, there doesn't seem to be anything here. Daddy Pig says, hang on, there is something here. Daddy Pig said, Peppa Pig says, wow, treasure. Daddy Pig, Mummy Pig, Grandpa Pig. Hurrah! Grandpa Pig says, well done. Peppa Pig says, I've got the key to open it. But Daddy Pig says, wow, I can't believe it. Gold coins. They must be worth a fortune. Grandpa Pig says, it's better than that. They're not gold coins. They're chocolate coins. Granny Pig says. And there's a chocolate coin for everybody. Daddy Pig, Mummy Pig, Grandpa Pig, Granny Pig, Peppa Pig. Hurrah! Narrator, Peppa and... Oh, wait, that's me. Peppa and George love chocolate coins. Everyone loves chocolate coins. Peppa Pig says, Granny, Grandpa, this is the best treasure hunt ever. Alright. I'm not sure if there's anyone in... There's 0 watchers right now. Hopefully someone will drop by later. I know at least Nathan's gonna watch this. Okay. Number 27, not very well. I'm going to try and read the entire season 1. I probably won't finish it today, but I'll try and finish it over the next couple of days. Number 27, not very well. Mommy Pig and Daddy Pig have just made breakfast for Peppa and George. Daddy Pig says, breakfast is ready. Peppa has red spots on her face. Peppa Pig says, Mommy, I don't feel very well. Mommy Pig says, oh, dear Peppa, you don't look very well. Daddy Pig says, don't worry, I'll ring Dr. Brown Bear. Dr. Brown Bear says, Dr. Brown Bear speaking. Daddy Pig says, Peppa is not very well. Her face is covered in red spots. Dr. Brown Bear says, put Peppa to bed and I'll come straight round. Narrator says, Dr. Brown Bear has come to make Peppa better. Dr. Brown Bear says, oh, no. Dr. Brown Bear has come to make Peppa better. That's what the narrator says. Narrator says, Dr. Brown Bear has come to make Peppa better. Hello, Pep. Dr. Brown Bear says, hello, Peppa. How are you today? Peppa Pig says, I'm not very well. Dr. Brown Bear says, stick your tongue out, please. Dr. Brown Bear says, it's not anything serious. Peppa's just got a rash. Peppa Pig says, do I need medicine? Dr. Brown Bear says, the rash will clear up quickly, but if you like, I can give you just a little medicine. Peppa Pig says, yes, please. Dr. Brown Bear says, I'm afraid it doesn't taste very nice. Open wide, please. Peppa Pig says, yuck, disgusting. Dr. Brown Bear says, you're a brave little one for taking it so well. Dr. Brown Bear says, Peppa must stay in bed. I'll call back later to check that she's better. Mommy Pig says, can Peppa have visitors? Dr. Brown Bear says, oh, yes, she can have visitors. The rash isn't catching. Goodbye. Teddy Pig says, goodbye, Dr. Brown Bear. Peppa Pig says, Mommy, can I get up now? Mommy Pig says, Dr. Brown Bear says that you must stay in bed for a little bit, Peppa. Peppa Pig says, oh, but it's so boring. Mommy Pig says, Dr. Brown Bear did say that you could have visitors. Peppa Pig says, could Susie Sheep visit me? Susie Sheep is Peppa's best friend. Mommy Pig says, I'll ring Susie Sheep's mummy. Mrs. Sheep says, hello, Mrs. Pig. Mommy Pig says, may Peppa talk with Susie, please? Peppa Pig says, hello, Susie. Susie Sheep says, hello, Peppa. Peppa Pig says, I'm not very well. I have red spots on my face. Susie Sheep says, has the doctor been? Peppa Pig says, yes, Dr. Brown Bear was here. He said I wasn't very well and that I was very brave. Susie Sheep says, so are you really ill? Peppa Pig says, yes, it's not pretend. I have to stay in bed. Dr. Brown Bear gave me medicine that tasted really horrible. Susie Sheep said, I'm coming to see you. I'm going to wear my nurse's outfit. Susie Sheep has come to see Peppa. Susie is wearing her nurse's costume. Danny Dog and Rebecca Rabbit have come along too. These people really like alliteration. Susie Sheep, Danny Dog, Rebecca Rabbit say, hello, Peppa. Peppa Pig says, hello. Susie Sheep says, how do you feel? Peppa Pig says, I'm not very well, Susie. I have to stay in bed. Susie Sheep says, what can we do to make you better? Peppa Pig says, you can get me some orange juice. Susie Sheep says, okay. Peppa seems to be quite enjoying herself. Peppa Pig says, thank you, Susie. Susie Sheep says, do you feel any better? Peppa Pig says, a little bit. Peppa Pig says, Danny, ask my mommy if I could have some ice cream. And Rebecca, could you bring me some flowers from the garden? Narrator says, Dr. Brown Bear is here to see whether Peppa is better. Oh, wait, I'm not. Okay, that's me. Dr. Brown Bear says, good, the nurse is already here. How is the patient? Susie Sheep says, I'm not a real nurse. It's just pretend. Dr. Brown Bear says, yeah, I see. Would you like me to take a look myself? Susie Sheep says, yes, please. Dr. Brown Bear says, I say, no more red spots. You're completely better. Peppa says, aren't I still a little bit ill? Dr. Brown Bear says, how do you feel? Peppa Pig says, I think I should stay in bed a little bit more. Daddy Pig says, I fancy a game with this ball in the garden. Who wants to join me? Susie Sheep, Danny Dog, Rebecca Rabbit say, me, me, me. Peppa Pig says, me too. Dr. Brambo says, well, I never a complete recovery. Okay, episode 28, Windy Castle. Narrator, Peppa and her family are going out for the day. Daddy Pig says, Peppa, George, today we're going to Windy Castle. Peppa Pig says, what's Windy Castle, Daddy? Daddy Pig says, it's a castle on a very high hill. Wait, I thought he hated heights. Narrator says, George likes castles. Peppa Pig says, Windy Castle sounds like a boring thing for boys. Daddy Pig says, no, Peppa, you'll love it. There's a great view from the top of Windy Castle. You can even see Granny and Grandpa's house. Peppa Pig says, wow, let's go. Daddy Pig says, I'll read the map and Mommy Pig can drive. Mommy Pig says, are you sure, Daddy Pig? When you read the map, we always end up getting lost and you get grumpy. Daddy Pig says, we will not get lost and I will not get grumpy. Mommy Pig says, Windy Castle, here we come. Peppa Pig says, are we nearly there yet? Daddy Pig says, not quite. Peppa Pig says, oh. Daddy Pig says, would you like to play a game? Peppa Pig says, yes, please. Let's play I Spy. Daddy Pig says, okay, I'll go first. Daddy Pig has to secretly look at something and the others have to guess what it is. Daddy Pig says, I spy with my little eye something colored red. Peppa Pig says, red, my dress, that's red. Daddy Pig says, no, it's not your dress. Peppa Pig says, the car? Daddy Pig says, that's right, our red car. Peppa Pig says, my go, I spy with my little eye something blue. Daddy Pig says, George's blue shirt. Peppa Pig goes, no. Mommy Pig says, is it something in the car? Peppa Pig says, no, give up. Daddy Pig says, yes. Peppa Pig says, the sky, the blue sky, I win. Mommy Pig says, Daddy Pig, do you know where we are? Daddy Pig says, I know exactly where we are, although this road doesn't look the same as it does on this map. Mommy Pig says, oh, Daddy Pig, we're lost. Daddy Pig says, we are not lost. Mommy Pig says, so how do we get to Windy Castle from here? Daddy Pig says, just give me a moment. Mommy Pig says, I know. We can ring Granny and Grandpa. What is this stigma that guys don't like to ask for directions? I don't get it. Guys ask for directions all the time. Why is it in every show and movie that guys are held to the stigma that they don't like to ask for directions? Daddy Pig says there's no need to ring Granny and Grandpa. I'll get us to Windy Castle if it takes me all day. Mommy Pig says, we haven't got all day. Grandpa Pig says, hello, Grandpa Pig speaking. Mommy Pig says, Grandpa Pig, we've got a little bit lost on the way to Windy Castle. Grandpa Pig says, is Daddy Pig doing the map reading? Mommy Pig says, yes, Daddy Pig is doing the map reading, and he's a bit grumpy at the moment. Daddy Pig says, I am not grumpy. Grandpa Pig says, this is the best route. Keep on the main road until you see Windy Castle up ahead. Wait, how does he know? He's on the phone. How does he know where they are? Okay, Mommy Pig says, thank you, Grandpa Pig. Mommy Pig says, we follow the main road and look out for Windy Castle. Daddy Pig says, as I thought. Peppa Pig says, look, is that a castle? Daddy Pig says, yes, it's Windy Castle. Mommy Pig says, come on, car. Peppa Pig says, go on, car. You can make it. Daddy Pig, Mommy Pig, Peppa Pig, hurrah! Peppa and her family have arrived at Windy Castle. Peppa Pig says, wow, it's so tall. Daddy Pig says, let's go inside. The view from the top is fantastic. Peppa Pig goes, wow. Mommy Pig says, look at the view. Peppa Pig says, Mommy, is that Granny and Grandpa's house? Mommy Pig says, yes, it is. Peppa Pig says, it's so far away. Daddy Pig says, let's take a look through the telescope. Peppa Pig says, can I look first, please? Daddy Pig says, yes, but you must let George look next. Peppa Pig says, wow, the telescope makes everything look bigger. I can see Granny and Grandpa. Look, George. George, Danky egg, Papa egg. What? George is waving at Granny and Grandpa. Peppa Pig says, silly George, Granny and Grandpa are too far away to see you waving. Mommy Pig says, I know, we can ring them. Grandpa Pig says, hello. Mommy Pig says, Grandpa Pig, we can see you from Windy Castle. Wave at us. Peppa Pig says, Granny and Grandpa are waving at us. Peppa Pig says, I love Windy Castle. Okay. Pancakes. Before I read pancakes, I need a sip of water. Guys, stay hydrated. Remember to drink lots of water, okay? Just stay hydrated. It is tea time, and Mommy Pig has a surprise for everyone. Mommy Pig says, "Today is the day for pancakes." Daddy Pig says, "Pancakes, delicious." Peppa Pig says, "I love pancakes." Everyone loves pancakes. Daddy Pig says, "I'm the expert at flipping the pancakes over. Leave that to me." Mommy Pig says, "Are you sure, Daddy Pig? Last time you got a bit grumpy when you dropped the pancake on the floor." Daddy Pig says, "I did not get grumpy. There was a problem with the frying pan." Peppa Pig says, "Mummy, can we help make the pancakes, please?" Hold on a second. I have to make sure this is still going because my stream stopped before. Okay, now it's working. Okay, yeah, it's working better than it was before, so I think whatever the problem was before, it's fixed now. Peppa Pig says, "Mummy, can we help make the pancakes, please?" Mummy Pig says, "Yes, you can help me make the batter." Mummy Pig says, "First, I put some flour in the bowl." Peppa Pig and George say, "Ooh." Mummy Pig says, "Now I add an egg." Mummy Pig says, "And the milk." Mummy Pig says, "And I give it all a stir." Peppa Pig says, "Mummy, can I stir?" Mummy Pig says, "Yes, of course, Peppa." Peppa loves stirring. George wants to stir as well. "No, George, like this," says Peppa Pig. Mummy Pig says, "Okay, that's enough stirring. You two sit at the table while I cook the pancakes." Mummy Pig is going to flip the pancake over. Peppa Pig says, "Hurrah!" Daddy Pig says, "You could flip it higher, Mummy Pig." Mummy Pig says, "You can show us how when you flip your own pancake, Daddy Pig." Narrator, this first pancake is for George. Mummy Pig pours a little syrup on George's pancake. Delicious. This pancake is for Peppa. Peppa Pig, hurrah! Daddy Pig, you could flip it higher, Mummy Pig. Mummy Pig says, "You will get a chance to show me when you flip your own pancake, Daddy Pig." Peppa Pig says, "Syrup, please." Peppa Pig says, delicious. This pancake is for Mummy Pig. Peppa Pig says, "Hurrah!" Daddy Pig says, "You still aren't flipping them high enough, Mummy Pig." Mummy Pig says, "This next pancake is yours, Daddy Pig, so now you can show us how it should be done." Mummy Pig says, delicious. Daddy Pig says, "Is everyone watching?" Daddy Pig says, "The secret of making a good pancake is to flip it high into the air." Daddy Pig says, "A 1, 2, 3, hoopla." Daddy Pig says, Peppa Pig says, "Silly Daddy." Daddy Pig says, "Oh, maybe that was just a bit too high." Mummy Pig says, "What a shame. That was the last pancake." Daddy Pig says, "It should be a simple matter to get it down." Oh dear, Daddy Pig cannot reach his pancake. Mummy Pig says, "Don't worry, Daddy Pig. I think I know a way to get it down." Mummy Pig says, "Let's go upstairs, children." Mummy Pig says, "This way." Narrator says, "What is Mummy Pig planning to do?" Mummy Pig says, "On the count of 3, we all have to start jumping up and down. 1, 2, 3, jump." Daddy Pig says, "What are they doing?" It worked. Now Daddy Pig has his pancake. Yay him. Peppa Pig says, "Daddy has a pancake on his head." Mummy Pig says, "Syrup on your pancake, Daddy Pig." Daddy Pig says, "Yes, please." Daddy Pig says, 1, 2, 3, hoopla. Daddy Pig says, "Delicious." Peppa Pig says, "Silly Daddy." Number 30, the museum. I think there's 52 episodes, so we're a little more than halfway there. Nah, and don't forget that Nathan started this and he read the first part. So I thought I would take on the second part without asking him. I didn't ask him, but I just did it. So, okay. Hopefully he's not mad at me for stealing his thing. Well, in all fairness, he stole my thing because I had the idea first and I was already doing the Fiction Friday and I was going to start reading like books and more episodes and stuff, like how he did the Peppa Pig episodes, and I was going to read more stuff, and I was also going to read like scary stories and stuff. So in all fairness, I had the idea first and I was doing the reading first, and he just kind of twisted it slightly and turned it into something else. So okay. The museum. Peppa and her family are going to the museum. Peppa Pig says, "Daddy, what is a museum?" Daddy Pig says, "It's a place full of interesting things that are very old." Peppa Pig says, older than you? Daddy Pig says, yes, even older than me. Peppa Pig and George says, ooh. Peppa Pig says, really old. Mummy Pig says, there's one room full of things that belong to kings and queens from long ago. Peppa Pig says, I want to see the king and queen's room. Daddy Pig says, and there's another room with a real dinosaur. George says, wow, dinosaur, grr. Miss Rabbit says, hello, Mummy Pig. Mummy Pig says, hello, Miss Rabbit. Miss Rabbit says, how many tickets, please? Mummy Pig says, 2 adults and 2 children. George says, dinosaur, grr. Miss Rabbit says, and a dinosaur. Narrator says, Peppa wants to see the room full of things that belong to kings and queens from long ago. Peppa Pig says, wow. George says, dinosaur? Narrator, but I'm not supposed to read that. But George wants to see the real dinosaur. Mummy Pig says, don't worry, George. We will see the dinosaur next. Mummy Pig says, Peppa, these are all the things that the Queen had a long time ago. Mummy Pig says, this is the Queen's special chair. It's called a throne. Peppa Pig says, it's beautiful. Mummy Pig says, this is the Queen's dress. Peppa Pig says, it's so pretty. And before you guys ask, no, I'm not doing the English accents either, so you can fuck right off with that nonsense. Oh my gosh. Mummy Pig says, look, Peppa, this is the Queen's golden crown. Peppa Pig says, wow, what lovely things. Peppa Pig says, Mummy, where's the Queen's television? Mummy Pig says, they didn't have television then. Peppa Pig says, no television? But they did have computers. Mummy Pig says, no, they didn't have computers either. Peppa Pig said, what did they do all day? Peppa Pig says, Mummy, if I was the Queen, I would eat as much cake as I wanted. Peppa imagines being a queen. Delicious. I guess if she was a queen, she'd have diabetes and weigh 500 pounds. Is there anything else you would care for a queen, Peppa? Says Mummy Pig. Peppa Pig says, yes. More cake, please. Mummy Pig says, of course. Daddy Pig says, come on, everyone. Peppa Pig says, coming, Daddy. Peppa Pig says, Daddy, I'm Queen Peppa. Peppa Pig says, you must bow when you speak to me. Daddy Pig says, oh, I'm most terribly sorry, Your Royal Highness. Peppa Pig says, and what do you do? Daddy Pig says, I'm your daddy. That sounds wrong in a way. Peppa Pig says, that must be very interesting. Daddy Pig says, yes, it's very interesting. Peppa Pig says, and what room is this? Daddy Pig says, this is the dinosaur room. Peppa Pig says, the dinosaur room? Peppa Pig says, George, this is the dinosaur room. George says, dinosaur. Peppa Pig says, where's the dinosaur? Daddy Pig says, he's somewhere in the room. Peppa Pig says, I can't see him. He must be very small. Daddy Pig says, actually, Peppa, he's very big. Peppa Pig says, wow. Daddy Pig says, these are the bones of a real dinosaur. George says, dinosaur, grr. George imagines being a big dinosaur. Peppa Pig says, it's a dinosaur, help, help. Mummy Pig says, the dinosaur room is George's favorite room. Peppa Pig says, my favorite room is the King and Queen's room. Mummy Pig says, and it looks as if Daddy Pig is already in his favorite room. Peppa Pig says, which room is that, Mummy? Mummy Pig says, the room with the cakes in it. Daddy Pig's favorite room is the museum cafe. Daddy Pig says, come on, tuck in. Peppa Pig says, oh yes, this is a very nice room. I want a room full of cake, chocolate cake. 31 secrets. Narrator, Mummy Pig has made a special box for Peppa. I need to stop reading that. I'm the narrator. I should not be reading the narrator. Okay, Mummy Pig says, Peppa, this box is just for you. Peppa Pig says, thank you, Mummy. Mummy Pig says, it's a secret box for you to keep secret things in. Peppa Pig says, what things can I put in it, Mummy? Mummy Pig says, only you can decide that, Peppa. It's your secret box. Peppa Pig says, I know what I can put in it. Mummy Pig says, good, but don't tell me. Peppa Pig says, I won't tell you or George or Daddy. It's a secret. Peppa Pig says, George, this is my secret box. It's empty. I have to find some things to put inside. George wants to help Peppa. Peppa Pig says, "No, George, only I must know what's in the box. You have to wait outside while I choose." Narrator says, okay. Peppa is going to choose some secret things to put in the box. I have to stop reading narrator. Peppa Pig says, "Now my secret box is full." Peppa Pig says, "George, you must not look inside." George would like to know what is inside Peppa's secret box. Peppa Pig says, "If you like, you can try to guess." George says, "Dinosaur." George thinks Peppa has put a dinosaur in the box. Peppa Pig says, "Oh, George, you always say dinosaur for everything." It's like one of 3 words that he knows. Can you blame him? He's like 2. Or 1. He's like 2. In the episode George's birthday, he turns 2. When I was in Nathan's live stream and he was reading the Peppa Pig series, I thought George was 3, but actually he's 2 and Peppa is 4, so he's really little. So he only knows like a few words. Anyway. George, you always say dinosaur for everything. Peppa Pig says, "Anyway, a dinosaur is too big to fit in the box." George cannot guess what is in Peppa's secret box. Narrators. Daddy Pig is cleaning a picture. Peppa Pig says, "Daddy, this is my secret box. Mommy made it for me." Daddy Pig says, "It's very nice, Peppa. What's inside?" Peppa Pig says, "It's a secret." It's called a secret box. Of course what's inside it is a secret. George tried to guess, but he didn't get it right. Daddy Pig says, "Can I have a try?" Peppa Pig says, "Yes." Daddy Pig says, "Have you put my glasses inside?" Peppa Pig says, "No, your glasses are on your head." Daddy Pig says, "So they are." Peppa Pig says, "Silly Daddy, you must have a proper guess." Daddy Pig says, "Okay, have you put Mommy's shoes in the box?" Peppa Pig says, "Nope." And that's all your guesses used up. Peppa likes secrets. Peppa Pig says, "Mommy, no one knows what's in my secret box." Peppa Pig says, "Oh, what has George got?" Mummy Pig says, "I made a box for George too, and he's filled it with secret things, and only George knows what's inside." Peppa Pig says, "Oh." Peppa would like to know what is inside George's box. Peppa Pig says, "It's George's toy dinosaur, of course." George says, "No." Narrator, George's toy dinosaur is not in George's box. Peppa Pig says, "It's too difficult. I'll never guess." Peppa does not like secrets as much as she used to. "Maybe if you show George one thing from your box, then he could show you one thing from his," said Mummy Pig. Peppa Pig says, "Okay, but we must do it at the same time." Daddy Pig says, "That's a good idea. On the count of 3, you each show what's in your boxes. Ready?" Peppa Pig says, "Yes." Daddy Pig says, 1, 2, 3. George has a drum and Peppa has a trumpet. Mummy Pig says, "Lovely." Daddy Pig says, "Yes, it sounds very nice." Daddy Pig says, "Do you have any more secret things?" George has a custard donut. Peppa Pig says, "Oh." Peppa's box is empty. "I've got nothing else." Mummy Pig says, "Luckily I have. Come on, tuck in." George, Peppa, Mummy Pig, and Daddy Pig all like custard donuts. Daddy Pig says, "I don't have a special box, but I know a very good place to hide my custard donut. Can you guess where?" Peppa Pig says, "Are you going to hide it in the fridge?" Daddy Pig says, "No, somewhere much more special. My tummy." Daddy Pig says, "Delicious." Peppa Pig says, "I'm going to hide mine in my tummy." Mummy Pig says, "Me too." Narrator says, "It is a lovely sunny day. Peppa and George are having a picnic." Oh, this one's called Thunderstorm. Peppa Pig says, "Here's some orange juice for you, Teddy." Peppa Pig says, "What do you say?" Teddy says, "Thank you very much, Peppa." Peppa Pig says, "You're very welcome, Teddy." Peppa Pig says, "Here's some orange juice for you, Mr. Dinosaur." Peppa Pig says, "And what do you say?" George, as Mr. Dinosaur, says, "Grr." Peppa Pig says, "You're very welcome, Mr. Dinosaur." Peppa Pig says, "Would Teddy and Mr. Dinosaur like a cookie?" Teddy says, "We're not very hungry, so Peppa and George can eat all the cookies." Peppa Pig says, "Thank you, Teddy." Narrator says, "What was that strange noise?" Mummy Pig says, "Peppa, George, quick, come inside the house." Peppa Pig says, Mummy, there was a loud bang sound. Mummy Pig said, It's thunder, Peppa. That means there will be a thunderstorm with lots of rain. Mummy Pig says, come into the house before the rain starts. Daddy Pig says, no need to panic. The rain is still a long way off. Narrator says, the sky is getting darker and darker. There is going to be a thunderstorm. Mummy Pig says, Peppa, George, did you bring all your toys in from the garden? George says, Dinosaur. Mummy Pig says, good. Mr. Dinosaur is safe. Peppa Pig says, Teddy, I left Teddy in the garden. He'll get wet. Daddy Pig says, don't worry, Peppa. Daddy Pig will rescue Teddy. Why did he refer to himself in the third person? Mummy Pig says, you'd better hurry, Daddy Pig. It's just about to rain. Daddy Pig said, I know all about thunderstorms. It won't rain for ages. Daddy Pig says, as I thought. Plenty of time before it rains. Peppa Pig says, poor Teddy, he's soaking wet. Mummy Pig says, yes, poor Teddy, let's get him dry. Peppa Pig says, poor Teddy. Mummy Pig says, there you are, Teddy, all dry. Daddy Pig says, achoo. What about poor Daddy? I'm soaking wet too. Why do people refer to themselves in the third person? I find it kind of weird, to be honest. Mummy Pig says, oh, sorry, Daddy Pig, let's get you dry. Mummy Pig says, there you are, Daddy Pig, nice and dry. Daddy Pig says, oh. Peppa Pig says, the rain is coming in the house. The floor is getting wet. Mummy Pig says, oh dear, what can we do, Daddy Pig? Daddy Pig says, don't worry. Daddy Pig is using a bucket to catch the drips. Well done, Daddy Pig, said Mummy Pig. Daddy Pig said, easy as pie. Daddy Pig says, what? Mummy Pig says, quick, find something else to catch the water. Daddy Pig says, well done, Peppa. Peppa Pig says, easy as pie. Peppa Pig says, Mummy, the thunder bangs are very loud. Daddy Pig says, it's okay, children. Don't be frightened. Mummy Pig says, let's count between each flash and bang. The higher we can count, the further away the thunderstorm is, said Daddy Pig. Mummy Pig said, 1, 2, 3. Daddy Pig says, that's 3. Daddy Pig, Mummy Pig, Peppa Pig, and George said, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Daddy Pig says, that's 5. The thunderstorm is going away. Mummy Pig says, the thunderstorm is over. Daddy Pig, Mummy Pig, Peppa Pig, George, hurrah! The thunderstorm has filled the garden with muddy puddles. Peppa loves jumping up and down in muddy puddles. Everyone loves jumping up and down in muddy puddles. Peppa Pig said, I love thunderstorms. They make muddy puddles. Peppa Pig says, splish, splash, sploosh, splosh. Piggy in the middle. Narrator said, George is playing with his ball in the garden. Narrator says, Peppa wants to play too. Peppa Pig says, George, you're doing it all wrong. This is how to catch a ball. Peppa Pig said, not like this. Peppa Pig says, that's what you do. What a cheeky little one Peppa is. She's a bitch is what she is. She's teasing her brother. She's so mean to him. Peppa Pig says, George, come back here, you little piggy. Maybe Peppa is teasing George just a bit too much. Mummy Pig says, Peppa, have you been teasing George? Yes, she has. Punish her. She should be struck down with lightning. I'm just kidding. But seriously, she is mean to her brother. Why is she such a jerk to him? I watched this episode, by the way. I watched this episode, and she was so mean to him. She was teasing him with the ball, and he couldn't. She was like holding it up, and he couldn't get high enough up, and she was pulling it away. It was so mean. If you guys haven't seen this episode, she's so mean to him in this episode. And I thought she was mean in the first part that Nathan read. Like, she was being mean to him. She was telling him he was painting a picture wrong, but when I got to this episode, it got a lot worse. Oh my gosh, it was terrible. She's mean to her brother. She's supposed to look after him. Anyway, sorry I went on a rant there. Peppa Pig says, not really, Mummy. I was teaching him how to catch. Oh good, she's a mean sister and a liar. Mummy Pig says, really? Well, I know a game that would teach George how to catch. It's called Piggy in the Middle. Mummy Pig says, Peppa, you take the ball and stand over there, and George, you stand over there. Mummy Pig says, good. You have to throw the ball to each other, and I have to try and catch it. I'm the piggy in the middle. Peppa Pig says, Mummy is the piggy in the middle. Peppa Pig says, catch, George. Mummy Pig says, "Oh, missed it." George has caught the ball. Mummy Pig and Peppa Pig said, "Hurrah!" Mummy Pig says, "Well done, George. Now you throw the ball to Peppa." Mummy Pig said, "Oop, try again." Mummy Pig said, "Oh, try again." Narrator says, George cannot throw the ball past Mummy Pig. "Come on, George," said Peppa. "Give the ball to me." Peppa Pig says, "Silly George, I can do that too." If you're wondering what he did, he went underneath his mom's legs. Peppa wanted to copy George, but she's too big and has got stuck. You know what? I'm going to stop explaining things. It'll make more sense once you guys go and watch the episode. If you guys want any context on anything, you can go and watch the episode. They're I think it's 4 minutes per episode. It's 4 or 5 minutes per episode. Mummy Pig said, "I've got the ball. Peppa, now it's your turn to be the piggy." Mummy Pig said, "George, catch." George, catch. Mummy Pig and Peppa Pig said, "Hurrah!" Peppa Pig says, "Caught it. George, you're the piggy." Peppa Pig says, "George, catch." Mummy Pig says, "Catch the ball, George." Peppa Pig says, "Catch, George." Mummy Pig says, "George, catch." Peppa Pig says, "Here's the ball, George." Peppa Pig says, "Wee." Mummy Pig says, "Oh dear, Peppa, you shouldn't tease George like that." Peppa Pig says, "Sorry, George." Daddy Pig says, "What's all the noise?" Peppa Pig says, "Daddy, George is too little to play Piggy in the middle." "Oh, I'm sure he's big enough," said Daddy Pig. Peppa Pig says, "No, he isn't, Daddy. Watch." Daddy Pig, "Catch it, George." Daddy Pig and Mummy Pig said, "Hurrah!" Peppa Pig says, "That's not fair." Daddy Pig says, "Yes, it is. I just gave George a helping hand." Peppa Pig says, "Mummy, can I have a helping hand?" Mummy Pig says, "Of course you can, Peppa." Peppa Pig says, "To me, George." Peppa Pig says, "Catch, George." Peppa loves catching the ball. George loves catching the ball. Everyone loves catching the ball. Fancy dress party, number 34. Peppa and George are having a fancy dress party. All of their friends are invited. Peppa is dressed as a fairy princess, and George is dressed as a dinosaur. George says, "Grr, dinosaur." Here are Peppa's friends: Candy Cat, Susie Sheep, Danny Dog, Rebecca Rabbit, and Pedro Pony. Narrator says Susie is wearing her nurse's costume. Daddy Pig says, "Give me a second." Yes. Daddy Pig said, "Give me a second." Daddy Pig said, "Hello, Susie." Susie Sheep says, "Hello, Mr. Pig." Daddy Pig says, "I'm glad the nurse has arrived. Have you just come from the hospital?" Susie Sheep says, "I'm not a real nurse. It's just pretend." Daddy Pig says, "Very good. My, who have we here?" Danny Dog says, "I'm a pirate. Shiver me timbers." Pedro Pony, hang on. I forget where I was. Danny Dog says, "I'm a pirate. Shiver me timbers." Candy Cat said, "I'm a witch. I can turn you into a frog." Candy Cat says, "I'm a witch. I can turn you into a frog." Pedro Pony says, "I'm a clown." Daddy Pig says, "That's funny. Not if you've seen it." Trust me, that movie will turn you off clowns in a second. Daddy Pig says, "What are you, Rebecca Rabbit?" Rebecca Rabbit says, "I'm a carrot." Daddy Pig says, "Fantastic. Come in. There's a fairy princess and a dinosaur waiting to meet you." Peppa Pig says, "Hello, everyone." Susie Sheep, Danny Dog, Candy Cat, Pedro Pony, and Rebecca Rabbit said, "Hello, Peppa." It's actually kind of satisfying, the alliteration. Peppa Pig says, "Hello, Susie. I'm Princess Peppa. You must bow when you speak to me." Susie Sheep says, "Hello, Your Majesty. I'm no Susie. Open wide and say, ah." Ah. Pedro Pony says, "I am a clown." Rebecca Rabbit says, "Do something funny." "They all float down here, Georgie." Which is funny because Peppa's little brother's name is George. Danny Dog says, "Rebecca, why are you dressed as a carrot?" Rebecca Rabbit says, "I like carrots." George says, "Grr, dinosaur." Danny Dog says, "A scary dinosaur." Peppa is admiring herself in the mirror. Peppa Pig says, "Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all?" The mirror says, "You are, Peppa." Candy Cat, it's just Peppa Pig pretending to be the mirror. Candy Cat says, "Hello, Peppa." Peppa Pig says, "Hello, I'm a little fairy princess." Candy Cat says, "I am a witch, and I've got a magic wand." Peppa Pig says, "I've got a magic wand too." Candy Cat says, "I can turn you into a frog." Peppa Pig says, "And I'll turn you into a frog." George says, "Dinosaur, grr." Oh dear, George is scared of his own reflection. "Oh, silly George," says Mummy Pig. "Look, it's you in the mirror." George says, "Grr." Mummy Pig says, "Children, it's time to decide who has the best fancy dress costume." Daddy Pig says, "We need a judge." The children says, "Me, me." Daddy Pig says, "As it's Peppa's party, maybe she should be the judge." "Wait, we need an impartial person. We need an impartial person who's not wearing a costume." Peppa Pig says, "I'm the judge, I'm 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 the judge." Sorry, it just reminded me of that song from Dora the Explorer. There's still 0 viewers. Where is Nathan? Okay, you know what? I'm sure he's gonna stop by later. I'm sure he will watch it and it will be automatically uploaded to my YouTube channel later. Wait, I have to check and make sure the other one was uploaded to my YouTube channel to see if it'll upload onto my YouTube channel later. I want to see if it's going to upload automatically. And then I'll be right back to this. But I have to see this first. So, yes, it did. It uploaded. Okay, perfect. It uploaded. Oh, wait, no, that's a different one. Okay. Yes. Okay, there we go. I got it. All right. Yeah. No, it did upload. So it's going to automatically upload when I'm done here. This is actually way easier to use than Google Hangouts. And it's actually way better. If I ever want to like do this and share my screen, you guys will be able to see what it is. I can easily share my screen through this and not have to use Bandicam anymore because Bandicam really fucking slows everything down. Like everything goes like 3 times slower when I'm using Bandicam, which is my screen sharing software that I record videos with. So I can just, whenever I want to share my screen, I can just do a live stream and I can like, you know, play will you press the button or would you rather, or if I wanted to do something like this, I could share my screen and stuff like that, and it'll be great. I actually have another thing coming up this weekend. I'm hoping, well, I'm probably not gonna finish this today because it's already 4:40 and I have to be done in like less than an hour. So I'm probably gonna have to finish this. I'm probably gonna end up having to finish off season 1 tomorrow. But I have some other fan fiction. I have some other fiction that I wanted to read, and I actually wanted to read Peppa Pig fan fiction as well. They have the Peppa Pig fan fiction section, so I was looking around that, and I thought it was hilarious, and I want to read it. Okay. So okay, and I'll turn you into a frog. Oh wait, no, I already read that part. Okay. Peppa Pig says, "I'm the judge, I'm the judge." Peppa Pig says, "Daddy, what is a judge?" Daddy Pig says, "The judge decides who has the best costume." Peppa, in that context, yes. Peppa Pig says, "Oh, goody." Peppa is going to choose who has the best costume. Peppa says, "Susie, can I see your costume, please?" Susie Sheep says, "Oh, I'm Nurse Susie. I make people better." Peppa Pig says, "Very good, Nurse Susie." Peppa Pig says, "Now, Danny." Well, she's gonna choose herself, isn't she? Danny Dog says, "I'm a pirate. Shiver me timbers." Peppa Pig says, "Now, Candy." Candy Cat says, "I'm a witch. I can turn you into a frog." Peppa Pig says, "Well, I'm a fairy princess and I can turn you into a frog." Mummy Pig says, "Children, children." Peppa Pig says, "Sorry, Mummy." Mummy Pig says, "Who's next?" Pedro Pony says, "I'm a clown." Peppa Pig says, "That's funny." Okay, you know what? Actually, you know what? It's different because the kids who are going to be watching this are very young and probably, hopefully, have not seen it yet. So they won't know until they, get older that clowns are actually fucking terrifying. Like when I saw the original as a kid, it terrified me. Okay, moving on. "I'm a clown. That's funny," says Peppa Pig. Peppa Pig says, "And Rebecca." Rebecca Rabbit says, "I'm a carrot." Peppa Pig says, lovely. Peppa Pig says, and my little brother George is a scary dinosaur. George says, grr. Peppa Pig says, everyone's costume is very good. The children all said, hurrah. Mummy Pig says, yes, now you must say who the winner is. Peppa Pig says, oh yes, ahem, and the winner is me. I knew it. Peppa, you can't pick yourself, said Mummy Pig. You're the judge. Peppa Pig says, oh, can't I? Mummy Pig says, you have to pick another winner. Peppa Pig says, okay, the carrot wins. The children says, hurrah. Rebecca Rabbit says, thank you. And the narrator says, Peppa loves fancy dress parties. Everyone loves fancy dress parties. Okay, very hot day, number 35. Narrator, the sun is shining. I'm going to try and get to 40 at least. The sun is shining. It is a very hot day. What a lovely hot day, said Mummy Pig. Narrator says, Peppa and George are wearing their boots. They're going to jump in muddy puddles. Peppa Pig says, I love muddy puddles. Peppa Pig says, oh. Narrator says, oh dear, the sun is so hot that the puddles have all dried up. Mommy, Daddy, the puddles are all dry, says Peppa. We can't jump in them. Mummy Pig says, yes, never mind, Peppa. It's so sunny, you can play in the paddling pool instead. Peppa Pig says, yes, the paddling pool. Mummy Pig says, first, you have to change into your swimming costumes. Peppa Pig says, yes, Mummy. Narrator says, Peppa and George are wearing their swimming costumes. Mummy Pig is wearing her swimming costume. And Daddy Pig is wearing his swimming costume. Mummy Pig says, because it's so hot, you need sun cream. Peppa Pig says, yuck. It's all oily and yucky. George says, yuck. Daddy Pig says, what a fuss about nothing. Mummy Pig says, would you rather fucking get skin cancer, you little shits? I'm just kidding. She doesn't say that. She says, yes, we all need sun cream today. Daddy Pig says, oh. Daddy Pig says, come on, George, let's get some air into this paddling pool. Narrator says, Daddy Pig is pumping up the paddling pool. Daddy Pig says, easy as pie. Peppa holds the hose and Mummy Pig turns on the water. Peppa Pig says, where's the water? Narrator says, Peppa and George love their paddling pool. Ice cream, says Miss Rabbit. Miss Rabbit, the ice cream lady, says Peppa Pig. Miss Rabbit says, ice cream. Narrator says, on very hot days, Miss Rabbit sells ice cream. Peppa Pig says, Mommy, Daddy, can George and I have an ice cream, please? Mummy Pig says, oh, well, since it's an especially hot day. Peppa Pig says, hurrah! Daddy Pig says, please, can I have one as well? Narrator says, everyone likes ice cream. Miss Rabbit says, hello, Mummy Pig, Peppa, and George. Mummy Pig says, hello, Miss Rabbit. What ice creams would you like? Asks Miss Rabbit. Peppa Pig says, can I have a cone, please, Miss Rabbit? Miss Rabbit says, of course you may, Peppa. Peppa Pig says, thank you. Mummy Pig says, the same one for me, and Daddy Pig, please. Miss Rabbit says, and what would young Mr. George like? George says, dinosaur. Miss Rabbit says, a dinosaur? Silly George, says Peppa. He always says dinosaur for everything. Well, it just so happens that I do have a dinosaur-shaped ice lolly, says Miss Rabbit. George says dinosaur. Grr. Mummy Pig says, George, you should eat your ice lolly before it melts. George, dinosaur. George loves his dinosaur ice lolly so much he doesn't want to eat it. Mummy Pig says, thank you, Miss Rabbit. Give me one sec. On very hot days, like in this story, it's especially important to stay hydrated. George says dinosaur. Narrator says George loves his dinosaur ice lolly so much he doesn't want to eat it. Mummy Pig says, thank you, Miss Rabbit. Miss Rabbit says, enjoy the weather. Mummy Pig says, George, I really think you should eat your ice lolly before it melts and falls on the ground. Oh dear, George's dinosaur ice lolly has melted and fallen on the ground. Aw. Never mind, George, says Mummy Pig. You can share Daddy's ice cream. I'm sure he won't mind. It is so warm, Daddy Pig has fallen asleep. Mummy Pig says, Daddy Pig does look hot. Let's tip water on Daddy to cool him down, says Peppa Pig. Mummy Pig says, good idea, Peppa. Daddy Pig says, what happened? Mummy Pig says, you were all red and hot, Daddy Pig. Peppa Pig says, so we tipped water on you? Daddy Pig says, oh, I see, thank you, Peppa. Peppa Pig says, "Look, the puddles are back." Peppa Pig says, "Quick, George, let's get our boots." Peppa and George are wearing their boots. Peppa and George love the hot day, but most of all, they love jumping up and down in muddy puddles. Okay, Mr. Skinny Legs. This is the episode that was banned in Australia because there were super dangerous spiders who lived there. And this episode basically says that, spiders are your friends and you shouldn't be afraid of them. And that's true in some cases, but in other cases, spiders can be really dangerous, especially in Australia and other places where there are tons of poisonous spiders and ones that could literally kill you. I'm yelling again, aren't I? Okay. Alright, let's move forward with this. Peppa's playing with her doll's house. George is playing too. Peppa's making a tea party for the doll family. "Here, George, I'm the mummy and daddy," says Peppa. "You can be the children," Peppa Pig says as mummy doll. "Children, it's nearly tea time, so you must wash your hands." George is putting the dolls to bed. "Night, night," says George. Peppa Pig says, "George, why are you putting the children to bed? They're having a tea party." George likes putting the dolls to bed. Mummy doll says, "Children, come downstairs right now or you won't get any cake." George isn't listening. He's too busy putting the dolls to bed. George, if you want to play with my doll's house, you have to help with the tea party," says Peppa Pig. Peppa Pig says, "Here, George, you can fill the teapot with water." Mummy doll says, "Children, come downstairs right now." Peppa Pig, as the children doll, says, "Mummy, we're coming." George is going to fill the teapot with water. "Ooh," says George. George has found a spider in the sink. George wants the spider to be his friend. George likes the spider. "Oh," says George. The spider likes George. Peppa loves playing tea parties. Mummy doll says, "Where are all the chocolate biscuits, Daddy? We had lots yesterday." Daddy doll says, "Oh, I'm sorry, Mummy. I must have eaten them all. Ho, ho, ho." Mummy doll says, "Naughty Daddy." George is putting the spider to bed. "Night, night," says George. "George, what are you doing?" asks Peppa. "George, you have to help me with the tea party," says Peppa. Peppa Pig says, "Help, help." Peppa Pig says, "Daddy, there's a spider in my bedroom." Daddy Pig says, "Don't worry, Peppa." "Please, Daddy," says Peppa, "take it away." Daddy Pig says, "No need to panic." Daddy Pig says, "Hello, George, have you seen the spider?" Peppa Pig says, "It's too scary, take it away." Daddy Pig says, "There's no need to be afraid. Spiders are very, very small and they can't hurt you, but don't worry, Daddy will take it out of the bedroom." Why? Why do people refer to themselves in the third person? I don't understand it. I'm going to start referring to myself in the third person. "Hey, it's Vanellope." Okay, Vanellope is going to read a story now. See how ridiculous that... Okay. See how ridiculous that sounds? Okay, I don't know. Maybe it doesn't sound as ridiculous to other people. Okay, whoa, he's quite big, isn't he? Says Daddy Pig. Daddy Pig says, I'll just fetch Mummy Pig. He's scared of a little spider. Daddy Pig says, "Mummy Pig." Peppa Pig says, "Hello, Mr. Skinny Legs." Peppa feels a little bit braver. Peppa Pig says, "He likes being in my doll's house." "Hello, children," says Mummy Pig. "I hear you found a little spider. I'll take him out of the bedroom so you two can play." Peppa Pig says, "Mummy, his name is Mr. Skinny Legs." Mummy Pig says, "Mr. Skinny Legs is big, isn't he?" Narrator says, "Peppa and George like the spider." George says, "Night, night." George is putting the spider to bed. "No, George," says Peppa, "he wants some tea. He doesn't want to be in bed." Peppa Pig says, "Are you hungry, Mr. Skinny Legs? Would you like some cake?" Peppa isn't afraid of the spider anymore. Peppa Pig says, "Mummy, Daddy, sit down. We are all going to have tea with Mr. Skinny Legs." Peppa Pig says, "Who wants tea?" "Me, please," said Mummy Pig. "Me, please," says Daddy Pig. Daddy Pig says, "Delicious." Peppa loves playing tea parties. "Here's your tea, Mr. Skinny Legs," says Peppa. Peppa Pig says, "What's that? You want to say hello to my daddy?" Peppa Pig says, as Mr. Skinny Legs, "Hello, Mr. Daddy Pig." Daddy Pig says, "That's all right, Peppa. Let Mr. Skinny Legs drink his tea. He's gonna drown in the cup." Peppa Pig says, "You're not scared, are you, Daddy?" Daddy Pig says, "No, of course not." Daddy Pig says, "Whoa, not so close." Daddy Pig says, "Whoa." Narrator says, "Peppa likes Mr. Skinny Legs. Everyone likes Mr. Skinny Legs." Lunch. Peppa and George have come to episode number 37, by the way. Peppa and George have come to Granny Pig and Grandpa Pig's house for lunch. Granny Pig says, Peppa Pig says, Granny Pig. George says, Granny Pig. George says, Granny Egg. Granny Pig says, Hello, my little ones. Would you like to pick some vegetables from the garden for lunch? Peppa Pig says, Yes, please. Peppa Pig says, Grandpa Pig. George says, Papa Egg. Grandpa Pig says, Hello, Peppa and George. Narrator, this is Grandpa Pig's vegetable garden. He has grown all these vegetables himself. George says, Grr. Grandpa Pig says, What's this? Dinosaur, says George. Grandpa Pig says, A dinosaur? Grandpa Pig says, Let's choose some vegetables for lunch. Grandpa Pig says, Peppa, do you like tomatoes? Peppa Pig says, Yes, Grandpa Pig. Grandpa Pig says, George, do you like tomatoes? George says, No. Peppa Pig says, George does not like tomatoes. Grandpa Pig says, Oh dear, do you both like lettuce? Asks Grandpa Pig. Peppa Pig says, Yes, Grandpa Pig. George says, No. Peppa Pig says, George does not like lettuce. Grandpa Pig says, Oh dear, I must have something that George likes. Grandpa Pig says, Do you like cucumber? George says, Yuck. Narrator says, George does not like cucumbers, and he does not like lettuce, and he does not like tomatoes. Well, George, what vegetable do you like? Asks Grandpa Pig. George says, Chocolate cake. Peppa Pig says, Silly George, chocolate cake isn't a vegetable. Grandpa Pig says, Maybe George will like the vegetables when they're made into a lovely salad. Oh, lovely fresh tomatoes, lettuce, and cucumbers, says Granny Pig. Granny Pig says, First we have to wash them. Peppa and George help Granny Pig wash the vegetables. Maybe that's enough washing, says Granny Pig. Granny Pig has made the tomatoes, lettuce, and cucumber into a salad. Grandpa Pig, can you call everyone to lunch, says Granny Pig. Grandpa Pig says, Lunch. Narrator, Granny Pig has made pizza for lunch, and here's some salad made with Grandpa's tomatoes, lettuce, and cucumbers, said Granny Pig. Grandpa Pig says, Tuck in, everyone. George has eaten his pizza, but he does not like the tomatoes, or the lettuce, or the cucumber. Oh dear, George, don't you like the salad? George goes, No. Mummy Pig says, George, just try a little bit of this lovely tomato. George says, Yuck. Granny Pig says, George, this is cucumber. Grandpa Pig grew it in his garden. Daddy Pig says, Try a piece of lettuce, George. It's yummy. Grandpa Pig says, Oh, now, George, look what I'm doing. Grandpa Pig says, Now it's a dinosaur. George says, Dinosaur, grr. George loves dinosaurs. George has eaten the lettuce, tomatoes, and cucumber. Mummy Pig says, Well done, George. Granny Pig says, Would you like some more, George? George says, Full. Grandpa Pig says, George, are you too full to eat any more tomatoes, lettuce, and cucumber? George is too full to eat any more. George, are you too full to eat anything more? Asks Mummy Pig. George is too full to eat anything more. Granny Pig says, Oh, well, then you won't want any of this chocolate cake. George says, Chocolate cake. Grandpa Pig says, My word, George seems to have got his appetite back. Okay. I think we're going to stop at 40 for now, and I'll do a part 3 later tomorrow. Okay. The Sleepy Princess, number 38. It is nighttime. George and Peppa are going to bed. Mummy Pig says, Good night, Peppa and George. Peppa Pig says, Mummy, Daddy. Mummy Pig says, Yes, Peppa. Peppa Pig says, I'm not sleepy. Can I have a story? Daddy Pig says, Maybe George is sleepy and doesn't want a story. Peppa Pig says, George, do you want a story? Peppa Pig says, Say yes. Daddy Pig says, All right, I will tell you just one story. Mummy Pig says, If Daddy Pig tells you a story, you must both promise to go to sleep. Peppa Pig says, We promise. Daddy Pig says, I think I'll tell you the story of the Sleepy Princess. Peppa Pig says, Is it a good story? It sounds a bit boring. Daddy Pig says, It's not boring. It's very good. Peppa Pig says, Is there a little princess in it? Mummy Pig says, Peppa, if you keep talking, Daddy Pig can't start the story. Peppa Pig says, Sorry, Mummy. Is there a little princess in the story, Daddy? Daddy Pig says, Yes, there is a little princess in it. Daddy Pig says, The Sleepy Princess. Daddy Pig says, once upon a time in a castle there lived a little princess, and she was called the Sleepy Princess. Peppa Pig says, Daddy, why was she called that? Daddy Pig Peppa Pig says, Daddy, why was she called that? Daddy Pig says, I'll get to that later. Peppa Pig says, was the Sleepy Princess pretty? Daddy Pig says, yes, she was very pretty. She loved looking at herself in the mirror. Princess Peppa Pig says, I am so pretty. Peppa Pig says, who else was living in the castle? Daddy Pig said, well, Mummy Pig said, the others in the castle were the small prince, Queen Mummy, and King Daddy. Daddy Pig said, that's right. They were all living there as well. Peppa Pig said, did King Daddy have a big tummy? Of course not, says Daddy Pig. He was very handsome like me. Daddy Pig said, anyway, there was also a dragon. That George says, dinosaur. Daddy Pig said, dinosaur? Oh yes, it wasn't a dragon, it was a dinosaur. Living outside was a huge, fierce dinosaur. Mummy Pig said, oh dear, maybe the dinosaur wasn't quite that fierce, Daddy Pig. Daddy Pig says, sorry, George. No, the dinosaur was very gentle. It ate lots of grass. Mummy Pig says, Daddy Pig. Daddy Pig says, oops, sorry, I was being the dinosaur. Peppa Pig says, Daddy, why is the princess called the Sleepy Princess? Daddy Pig says, I'm coming to that. Daddy Pig says, you see, the sunset and the stars and moon came out, and everyone got very sleepy, and the most sleepy of all was the Sleepy Princess, said Daddy Pig. Daddy Pig says, Peppa, are you sleepy? Peppa Pig says, no, Daddy, I am not sleepy at all. Mummy Pig says, but somebody is. Peppa Pig said, George, wake up. You'll miss the end of the story. Daddy Pig says, well, Peppa might not be sleepy, but the Sleepy Princess certainly was. Looking at herself all day in the mirror had completely worn her out. King Daddy Pig said, let's carry you to bed. Good night. Daddy Pig said the Sleepy Princess was so sleepy she had fallen fast asleep. Thank you for that story, King Daddy, said Mummy Pig. Daddy Pig said, you're welcome, Queen Mummy. Mummy Pig said, and our little prince and princess enjoyed it too. Okay, this is the last episode, and then we're gonna stop, and we'll start back at episode 40 when I get back. Episode 39, the treehouse. I'm gonna get a sip of water, and then we'll read this last one. And then I have to take a break because I am tired, and also I have to go and sign the lease in a bit, so I can't stay for much longer anyway. So I'm going to take like a very short amount of downtime before we have to go. Actually, I'm hungry, so I'm probably going to eat something. So we're going to start there. Anyway, okay, so. Alright, number 39, the treehouse. Peppa and George are visiting. Sorry. Give me a second. Okay. Okay, number 39, the treehouse. Peppa and George are visiting Granny Pig and Grandpa Pig. Peppa Pig says, Granny Pig. George says, Danky Egg. What? Granny Pig says, hello, my little ones. Before you come in the house, you must take off your muddy boots. Peppa Pig says, yes, Granny. Granny Pig says, Peppa, George, look what I've made. Little curtains. Peppa and George go, ooh. Peppa Pig says, what are the little curtains for, Granny? Granny Pig says, it's a surprise. Do you want to see what Grandpa Pig has made for you in the garden? Peppa Pig says, yes, please. Peppa Pig says, Grandpa Pig. George says, pop the egg. Grandpa Pig says, hello, Peppa, George. Look what I made for you. A treehouse. Peppa Pig says, a treehouse? For George and me? And the little curtains are for your treehouse, says Grandma Pig. Says Granny Pig, sorry. Peppa Pig says, hurrah! Peppa and George love their treehouse. Thank you, Granny Pig, says Peppa Pig. Thank you, Grandpa Pig, says Peppa Pig. Grandpa Pig says, who wants to go inside first? Peppa Pig says, me. Grandpa Pig says, in you go then. Peppa Pig says, before I go in my treehouse, I must take off my muddy boots. Peppa Pig says, I'm in my treehouse. Peppa Pig says, I'm in my treehouse. Daddy Pig says, George, would you like to go in the treehouse too? Peppa Pig says, yes. Who is it? Daddy Pig says, a young pig named George would like to pay a visit. Can he come in? Peppa Pig says, as long as he takes off his muddy boots. Daddy Pig says, George, take your boots off, then you can visit Peppa in the treehouse. Peppa Pig says, who is it? Peppa Pig says, George? Peppa Pig says, yes, who is it? Mummy Pig says, it's Mummy Pig. Have you room for any more visitors? Peppa Pig says, you have to say the secret words, then you can come into our house. Mummy Pig says, I see, and what are the secret words? Peppa Pig says, I have to whisper them to you. The secret words are Daddy's big tummy. I see, says Mummy Pig. Peppa Pig says, say the secret words. Mummy Pig says, Daddy's big tummy. She's so mean. Why is she so mean? Peppa Pig says, that's right, Daddy's big tummy. Daddy Pig says, I think those are silly secret words. They're really mean. She's mean. God, she needs to. Gosh, okay. She really needs to learn how to respect her elders. Peppa Pig says, Mummy, before you come in our house, you must take off your muddy boots. Mummy Pig says, of course. Peppa Pig says, there's room for Daddy too. Peppa Pig says, say the secret words, Daddy. Daddy Pig says, can I have different secret words, please? Mummy Pig, Peppa Pig, and George say, no. Oh, all right, said Daddy Pig. Daddy Pig says, Daddy's big tummy. Peppa Pig said, that's right. You can come in now, Daddy. Take your boots off. Daddy Pig says, I don't think you can fit through the door. I don't think I can fit through the door. Peppa Pig says, that's because your tummy's too big. Grandpa Pig says, I know. Daddy Pig can climb in through the top. Okay, this treehouse is designed for children, so it's not that his tummy's too big. It's designed for children. Okay. Anyway, Peppa, George, Mummy Pig, and Daddy Pig are all in the treehouse. Peppa Pig says, Granny, I love our treehouse. I don't want to ever come out. Granny Pig says, that's nice, Peppa, but are you sure you don't want to visit me in my house? Peppa Pig says, no thank you, Granny. Granny Pig says, in that case, Grandpa Pig and I will just have to eat my homemade cookies all by ourselves. Peppa Pig says, cookies. Peppa Pig says, Granny Pig. Granny Pig says, here are my homemade cookies. But if you want to come in, you have to say the secret words. Peppa Pig says, that's easy. Daddy's big tummy. How about smack this kid upside the head? That's what would have happened to me if I had done something like this to my dad. Granny Pig says, that's right. Daddy Pig says, well, I still think that those are very silly secret words. And since Peppa Pig was mean to her dad, she went down to hell where she burned for all eternity. I'm just kidding. Okay, I think we're done. So this is okay, so we just finished episode 39 and we're gonna start back at episode 40 when we come back. But for now, I'm ending this broadcast because it's 5 minutes after 5 and I would like just a tiny bit of downtime before we have to go and sign the freaking lease. And I'm probably getting pizza tonight, but I'm not sure yet. And I hope I'm getting pizza tonight. So, yeah, we might get pizza tonight. Okay, I don't know. But we're signing the lease for the new apartment. That's where I'm going to live. And I'm very, very excited. And I will do a vlog as soon as I can. I've been so busy. I'm sorry. Please bear with me. Okay? I love you guys. I love you guys. And I wanted to upload. Please just bear with me while I do the rest of this and figure this out. And my upload schedule might be a little bit different because of some stuff that I'm going to talk about later in my vlog. I might be able to do a vlog on Tuesday or Wednesday. On Monday, I'm spending the entire day with Darlene, and yeah, so once I'm settled into the house and I bring my cat and everything, then I will have that figured out. So, but right now I have to go because I have shit to do, and I have to go and sign this lease for the new place and stuff like that. So I gotta go, but I will be back and I will be reading part 3 and we will be finishing off the season when I come back, and then I might even read more episodes. If this is something that you guys are really enjoying, I might even go into season 2 or 3, or I don't know how many how many seasons there are now, probably a billion. I don't know. This is a super popular show for some reason, even though I don't understand how parents can let their kids continue to watch this show when it's teaching such mean behavior. Like, it's got Peppa teasing her little brother, and she's so mean to everyone. Why is she so mean to everyone? So I just hate it. Anyway, I hate her. Okay, I think my mom just walked in, so I definitely have to go now. But I love each and every one of you guys. Please bear with me while I just figure this out, okay? I love you guys. I love each and every one of you guys. Please don't forget to always be yourself. I hope, Nathan, that you'll come by later and watch this stream. It's going to be on YouTube for eternity. So come by, watch it, say hi. I miss you, bud. I miss you, dude. All right, bye. I love each and every one of you guys. Please don't forget to always be yourself. And I will see you all later or tomorrow. I'm gonna be back later probably. Bye.